This is a 1963 Volkswagen that is anything but your grandmother's 1963 Volkswagen. It was originally started by a fellow named Eric Langbein, and I inherited it to finish it. It is a chrome moly tube chassis, mid-engine, Porsche-powered Volkswagen. Weighs about 1,500 pounds. It's got a Jake Robbie Porsche engine in the back seat, independent suspension on all four corners with disc brakes and Penske shocks. It's street driven, it's insured, and it's a blast. The engine is a typical grassroots motorsport story. The car was built for a 911 six-cylinder, and that engine became too valuable to use in the build once Marcus started promoting those cars. So this engine is a Jake Robbie engine that was built in 2000, and it belonged to a movie producer for Disney in Orlando, and he sold it to me on eBay for $1,000. And it had been sitting 10 years. I tore it apart, rebuilt it, just to refreshen it and check for any corrosion or anything. And it runs. It's board stroked. Oh my gosh, oversized valves, cam, light flywheel, Porsche racing clutch, 40 IDA Webers, all that technical stuff. On the dyno, it's 196 horsepower at 6,800 RPM. It comes on the cam at about 3,500, and it's a hoot to drive, but it is streetable. I mean, at the low revs, you'd think you're driving a Volkswagen, sort of. The paint on it is the original paint from Germany in 1963, and it's shown a little bit of wear, but it's official and it's authentic. There hasn't been any sandpaper rubbed in places to make it look like this. If I'm driving down the street, it looks like a grumpy old man in an old Volkswagen until I leave the traffic light at 6,000 RPM, then it wakes up some people. But when it's parked and people are looking at it, most people look at it and then they think it's a bug, and then they look at it a little more and then they get it. Or at least what I've found is the sports car crowd really gets it, and they'll spend long minutes looking at every piece of it, trying to figure out how it did it. And I think among the sports car people, it's appreciated, for what it is. I mean, it was built to be a track day car and streetable, and I think we've been fairly successful at that part. Because of the build and the suspension geometry, I've got 1,800 pound springs on the rear and 15 on the front, so it basically handles like a go-kart. The tires are, for the most part, the suspension, but it is flat, and being mid-engine, the center of gravity is right at my spine, and it's low, and it handles very, very well. I've not ever tried to autocross it because I have a road race rack and pinion in it, and I have to change the angles to do autocrossing, but I'm spoiled by other race cars, so I really don't feel the need to seriously race it. I'm a big proponent of the Grassroots Motorsports Forum. There is so much available information there, and people willing to share, and every day try to help people get out of binds they've gotten into. And as crazy as it sounds, it might be everything from their house septic tank to how to fix a wiring harness to bypass an ECU. I mean, it is an incredible forum for gathering information about anything motorsports related. And we've got a thread out there, a couple years old, and I don't know the address to it. But anyway, there's a thread out there that shows the whole build procedure of this car.
Support brands that support grassroots motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more.